Hello, everyone, and welcome to the first webinar of our webinar series that we will hold this spring to allow you to better get to know RBS and what we offer here. My name is Paula Elksne, and I'm the Assistant Director of Bachelor Programs here at RBS. And today I will be the moderator of this exciting event. We have a really great speaker lineup, so I hope you will enjoy this hour or a little bit more with us this afternoon. I can imagine that for many of you, this is a really burning question. Which is the right program for me? Which is the place where I want to study? It was unfortunately quite many years ago, but I can still remember how confused I was at the last year of high school. What is the best place for my talents? What is the place where I will enjoy studying? What program will provide a really good starting point for my career in future? Those are all really important questions, and we will try to answer them today, of course, from the perspective of RBS bachelor programs. So as you might know, here at RBS, we offer two bachelor programs, Bachelor of Business Administration and Bachelor of IT Leadership. So today we will talk about these two programs. We will explore what it means to be a student in these programs. We will look at some similarities and some differences between these programs. So with no further ado, I would like to introduce our speakers. As I said, we have a really great lineup today. We have Claudio Rivera, the Bachelor Program Director here at RBS. Then we have Leo Saljavo. He's a professor in the BITL program and also co-director of the BITL program. We have Marta Jaksona. She's also RBS professor in both BBA and BITL programs, so she gets to teach both students. We have Anita Ramka. She's a first-year BITL student. Jakub Solovjevs, he's a second-year BITL student. And then we also have two BBA students. Kristiana Jan Petrovica, she's studying in a second year, and Roberts Dobelis, he's about to graduate. He's studying in a third year. So you'll get to hear from all of them as we go on, and they will share their insights and many interesting ideas, I think so. So to start, I would like to ask Claudio to give a brief presentation about actually what BITL and BBA programs consist of. So we can have a good starting point for the discussion. So Claudio, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Paula. If you are here today, that means that you are interested to study with us in Riga Business School, and probably you have visited already the open days or other events that we have during the year. And this webinar will be more focused on you trying to decide which of both programs, which of both tracks, because these are like two tracks, are the most appropriate for you. I am going to go through some of the essentials of both programs and how they differ one from the other. However, after I will be available for questions, and also invite the other speakers to also complement what I say if you see that I missed something important. Now, I want one idea clear from the very beginning. In both programs, we have the same objective, that is help to create leaders that in the future will be able to create a lot of impact from ideas that they can transform ideas into real impact. Some of these leaders will do it in startups, so new ventures, or non-governmental organizations that will be running new social projects that will change the world in some way. Some of them will be doing that from government. Some of them will be doing that from big or middle-sized companies and well-established companies. And we do have graduates in all of those companies. We have graduates in startups, in their own startups, or working for another startup. So we have graduates in middle-sized and big corporations, international ones, family ones. So, but the focus is on helping you to be people that in the future can do a great contribution on bringing real ideas, good ideas into real impact. And the two programs focus on that. So in building those skills. Now, one of the programs, that is the BBA, is more on the decision-making process. So how do you take the decision of the idea? How to analyze whether the idea is the right one? On how do you put the idea together with inside the whole organization? The other one is more focused on the technical implementation of the idea, especially if it is connected with the IT sector. So one is also a Bachelor in Business Administration. The other is an engineering program. Okay, so these are two, formally also two different programs. Now, a little bit, though you might know it probably more than I do at this moment. So, but RBS is in operation for 30 years. So we are celebrating 30 years, and is a great project. It's considered one of the best US-based projects in Eastern Europe. And it has been created as part of the Riga Technical University in cooperation with the University of Buffalo, the University of Ottawa. Now the BITL program, the Baltic IT Leadership program, is also run together with the University of Latvia. And BI Norwegian Business School is a partner in both programs, in the Bachelor of Business Administration and in the Baltic IT Leadership. So RBS, you can look at it as an institution that is working with top international partners in developing cut-off-the-edge educational programs at your level, in the undergraduate level, and also in the graduate level and executive education. So what's the difference between both? Okay, the Bachelor of Business Administration, that is the classic one, because it started in 2012. I started that program, so I am director of that program since then. And we have a lot of graduates, and they are everywhere. So that program, it can focus you on general business, or in finance, or in marketing, or in entrepreneurship, and now also in business analytics. So these are like specializations. We call them tracks, because you have to do a little bit more courses on those areas, and you will have to write a bachelor thesis on those areas as well. And you can you can finish those specializations here in Latvia, or in Oslo, or in the United States. It's up to you. How do you do that? And you get dual degree if you finish in Oslo with BI Norwegian Business School, and if you finish in the US with the University of New York at Buffalo. So the four tracks, one, the finance one, it puts you more on the corporate finance, so the people working with the money in the organization, or trading. So people that are, you know, in brokerage, or working with insurance companies, or working with cryptocurrency. So we have many people on that area as well, Bitcoins. Marketing, so there we have many graduates that are working in marketing management positions of different sort. Entrepreneurships, these are people that, most of them are working for startups in the investor side. So they are working on creating the business plan for the investors, or for the startups. And in the business analytics is one of the most promising careers in the future, that is big data. I mean, people call it big data. I'm here using the real terminology, that is working with data to produce decisions. For example, I am working now for a big retailer, I mean, as a consultant, and they do more money per square meters in the supermarket than the normal retailer. And what is the reason? Well, the reason is very simple. They treat very well their customers, they treat very well their employees, but besides that, they put the right product at the right time with the right price. How do they do that? Because they manage data, so they know what the customer wants and at which price he wants it. The Baltic IT Leadership is, there is a lot of programming as part of the curricula. There is a lot of management and humanities as well, but you have, you learn how to program, you learn how to create programs, You learn how a machine works. You go into artificial intelligence and how you create models for machine learning. So it's and here you can get a specialization on artificial intelligence. You can create a specialization more on the IT management. So which projects of IT you are going to implement in companies, or business analytics that is very close to the BBA as well, though here you have more background on IT. So here, a little bit on the skills you get, okay? So, and the difference, you have it, of course, on the top of it. So what are the typical positions our graduates really occupy, okay? So BBA graduates, you will find them in finance departments or working on the financial side of business plan or in the marketing departments, okay? Now, all of them cover the BBA, and the BITL will cover what we call 21st century skills. So they know how to think, basically. That is very important. And honestly, you don't find that too much in the market. People that know how to analyze a problem, to understand the core of the problem, and to offer the proper solutions. You don't find that. It's very rare. I was in a couple of presentations now, and I hope nobody get offended, but with one of the largest IT companies in the world, IBM, and really it was difficult to get what they wanted to tell us in their presentation. Certainly they were great. No. On the technical side, we were talking about artificial intelligence. They were showing us the solutions, but the presentation skills was not there. So we are creating IT people in a way that know how to communicate, know how to sell, that know how to speak to a customer. Okay. Now, here you have, this is not too much for you. This is for your parents and grandparents, because they will ask where my son is going to work or where my daughter is going to work. Okay, you can give them this, and then they can go to CV Online, or if you are from another country, to another of those shops websites where you can find for jobs, and then put these positions, and then you will find what are the salary levels, okay? What are the companies where they work. But I know, but this is not, it's not so important, these shops names, because probably when you finish, they will have another names. This changed very quickly. What is important is the skills you get, because those skills will make you available for anything. You see in the BBA, for example, we have something called anti-money laundering. I remember when we started here the BBA program, we never thought we were creating great people to work, and we have Martha Jackson here can explain 20 times better than I do. I can what means to be an anti-money laundering specialist, right? But we have many of our graduates working in banks, trying to detect who are the bad guys trying to use the banking system, right? And we were creating those people. We didn't know we were creating. We were giving the skills to do that. In the IT area, you will know how to program, but we want something more than that. We want that you can tell the company which program they should use and for what purpose. And that you can be a great project leader. And go and ask any IT company whether that's a problem. It's a huge problem. So most of IT people don't have the project management skills to actually make a project happen with the time and the money that you need. So this is a very simple scheme that you have here. BITL is foreseen to be finished in 4 years. It's not a problem if you finish in 5 or in 6. It is a problem if you want to finish in 7. So 6 is the maximum. Now, BBA is foreseen for 3, but we have around 20–30% of people finish in 4 because it's demanding. Also because people are all our students are very demanding. They start to work in internships and things like that. Sometimes graduation becomes a little bit a longer project. Now, in one of them, in both you need quantitative and qualitative skills. So you need to do numbers and you need to read to know how to read and study. Now, BITL is more quantitative, BBA is more qualitative. One is more focused on coding, though BBA people also code, okay? Because you go nowhere if you don't know how to code, okay? Now, BBA is more, we are focusing more on you knowing how to write, how to present. One is more focused on analyzing the data and trying to produce the data to take decisions. The other one is how you take a decision based on the data. And one is more big data centric and the other is more human centric. But see, both are human centric. So BITL people are human centric as well, okay? So we are focused on the BITL students that are here today. They can also speak about that. We are trying to develop that skill called empathy, right? So they can talk to other people, communicate, build teams. And I think I spoke more than I was supposed to. This is the leitmotif that we have for starting for this 30 year. So change your world with RBS. I think we have everyone that come here. I mean, his life has changed because of RBS in some way. And that is why we are here as well. Okay. Paula, I go back to you.
Thank you, Claudio. You can also stop sharing, I think now. And thank you. I think that was very insightful and it gave us many good starting points for the conversation. So now we have very good insights. What are both programs about? What are they focused on? What are, so to say, outcomes of both programs? So what are the future career paths? But what I want to do now, I want to ask the students, how would you describe the program that you're studying in? And I will start with Roberts because he's the most experienced one. So Roberts is studying in a BBA program. So how would you describe it, Robert?
So my description might at first sound kind of bad, but it is actually the greatest strength of it. I think it is super like wide. It's not really focused on anything specific. And even though it might sound like you're not really learning anything, you're actually learning everything and just the amount that you need. Because if you look at the graduates of BBA, as already mentioned by Claudio, they have gone into all the spheres of that you can imagine in the business world. And I think that is the greatest strength, that in RBS, in this BBA program, we are really prepared for basically any field with very little extra knowledge needed to actually start working.
Thank you, Robert. It's very interesting. Actually, this morning I was talking with a colleague and we had a discussion about the specifics of business education, that it is actually so practical that you learn things and they start to seem so natural to you and you don't even realize that you learned them because it seems that like that's who you are now. You know these things and it's hard to unknow things. So kind of it becomes the way you act, the way you do things. So thank you. I think that was an interesting point. Now I want to ask Jakobs about the BITL program. You're the most experienced of BITL students here. So what are your thoughts?
Yes, indeed. Well, I see the BITL program as an excellent combination of two areas that will dominate the future world and actually that are already dominating the world right now. And IT is the future, and add to that management skills, knowledge about how businesses are run, and soft skills or 21st century skills, as Claudio already mentioned. And you have an unstoppable future leader in technology. And that's what BITL is to me, to learn, to grow as a person and academically, and to become that future leader.
Thank you, Jakob. Now, Christiana, is there anything you would like to add to what Roberts already said about the BBA program?
Well, I think that the main focus of the BBA program is to prepare students to successfully work in large or small organizations. And in this program, not only we learn about the fundamentals of business, including finance, human resources, marketing, management, but we also learn how to lead and motivate people, how to communicate with them effectively, and also to think critically. So if you are someone who is interested in organization and management or enjoy collaborating with others to reach a common goal, then I would say that this BBA program would be great for you.
Thank you, Christiana. Yeah, I think you raised many good points, and I think collaboration is very, very important. I'm quite certain that all RBS students have done teamwork many, many, many times, so they know how to do it, and collaboration is really a big part of studies at RBS. Anita, so what's your opinion about the BITL program? And maybe you can tell us a little bit more about your opinion as a lady, because although we don't really like that so much, but still ladies are underrepresented in IT sector, that's true. So I think it's also interesting how you're looking at this program exactly from your viewpoint.
Well, yeah. I actually never noticed the lady part, because I guess I've already gotten used to it, that the majority are the guys around. But I mean, the girls are still smart, and sometimes even smarter than most of the guys. So, well, that bad. But regarding the program, I would say that it is challenging in all its forms, but it helps to develop like better understanding of the systems around us. And it offers so many possibilities already while you are studying to have different experiences and see different things. So, I mean, I would say that it's a great program for people who want to understand the IT field. And I think that's also why I don't feel that like the gender differences, because we all as a course want to know more about IT and we want to understand what's happening there. And the majority of us are still in the same level right after high school with no prior experience. So I would say the program is very, very challenging, but very interesting regarding getting the insights of the IT industry.
Thank you. I love your confidence. Girls are smart and sometimes even smarter. That's the way to go, Anita. Really good. Thank you, guys. I think it was very insightful, and in many ways it connected with what Claudia already said, but it gave a really good insight of how you look at these programs as students. So just to maybe answer the question that we're trying to help to our listeners to answer more directly, how did you decide that this is the program right for you? Maybe we can start with Jakobs.
Well, I initially wanted to get a degree in just computer science, but I always had one question in mind: will it be enough for me and enough for the future? And how far can only being good in one field really take me? And I understood that this does not necessarily align with my future goals. And then I heard about the BITL program. And after getting to know more, I understood that the business side is what I actually wanted to add to my computer science education to make it a bit broader. And that is how I chose BITL.
Thank you. Christiana, what was your logic behind your decision?
I have to say that it was not an easy choice to make, because both BBA and the BITL programs are very good. But I decided to pursue a business administration degree because I saw how it positively would impact my career and personal life. And it is a great program where you can get the skills that you need to become an entrepreneur, or pursue a job in marketing or sales, or consider maybe a position in investment banking or business management. So that was my decision.
Okay, thanks. Anita, how about you?
Well, for me, it was actually very interesting because in all the years in high school, I was thinking about more engineering field or like physics connected or something, just to develop my understanding of systems and of logic. But I knew that at some point I want to be a leader. I want to get those management skills. I want to get some insights of how to deal with people and how do systems work, how do businesses work. And yeah, well, when I found out about the BITL program, it was quite a big surprise that there is a program that gives an insight of how those systems work and that gives you some technical background, but also gives you the management background where you can understand how to manage all those things, not only how to like do them practically. So it felt like a really good match for what I wanted to do. And yeah. And then I looked at the syllabus and I understood that I could try to survive that. So yeah.
Yeah, try to survive that. That's that's a good way how to put it. Thank you. Robert, I know that when you were making this choice, BITL program didn't exist yet, but still maybe you can reflect on how you made the choice to come to RBS.
Yeah, of course. So yeah, my choice was quite easy because there was no other program. And fun fact, actually, I didn't really consider any other universities because RBS just seemed like the right match. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, that other one university also was not on my list because I didn't feel like it is the right match for me. And yeah, but I would still choose BBA program over BITL because even though I feel like my analytical thinking skills are also quite up to the level that they should be, I enjoy much more working with people, and I feel like that's a little bit more of what we get in the BBA program because I like to code, but it's not necessarily something that gives me joy, but people do. So I just thought that learning all these different subjects that mainly are all about people, either it's working with people or selling to people or whatever, it's people is all around you. So I would say, yeah, if you like people, BBA.
Robert, I think you actually put it very, very nicely, and that, in my opinion, is a very important element. What brings you joy? And I think it's a very good aspect. That's something that you should think about when you're making this choice. It was a really good point, I think. Thank you. Now let's ask Leo, who's working in the program, working with the students in some courses, but also working with the program in more general sense. So Leo, maybe you can give us your thoughts and ideas. What is BITL program special with? Maybe in the context of Latvia, Europe, I don't know, world.
Well, this is one of the best programs in this galaxy that I have found out so far. So that's one reason why I have joined it. But there are more reasons than that, if that's not enough for you, which might not be. So why BITL? It was said already that there are two major components there. So there's the IT, information technologies, computers, programming, all that good stuff. And then there is people, there is business administration. So actually working with people, leading the teams. And I think it's an amazing opportunity to understand, to get to learn to understand how to bring those two together. Because I have met a lot of very good programmers or IT people, if you will, but they kind of want to do their own thing. And they do it very well, and they get a great product up and running that is very good suited to him or to her, right? On the other hand, there are people that are trying to be in charge. They are like the project managers, and they say, okay, you have to build this program that will figure out, for any other program, whether it stops or not. And it has to be really fast. And they have no clue, no idea that what they're asking is impossible because it's theoretically proven to be impossible. So you actually get to learn both sides, and that way you can work more efficiently, and you can also have a more interesting job, right? And even if as a programmer, So sometimes they ask, okay, what programming languages do you teach at BITL? We teach quite a few already in the first year. You know, Python, JavaScript, Scala, to name just a few, right? But what is a good programmer is not a person who knows a lot of programming languages. It's not even a person who knows one programming language really well. A good programmer, even if you want to become a programmer, has quite a few features. And it's not only about programming. It's about having empathy for people who are going to look at your code later on, for people that are going to fix your bugs, because there are virtually no programs with bugs, right? We need to fix them. Often we need to fix other. How to write a program. What is a good program anyway? Let me give you a tip, you know. A good program is a program that is easy to read by a human being, by a person. And also it runs on the computer, but the humans come first. And I think that's the big emphasis on that we are having on BITL. So in the meantime, why study, you know, IT? You have to study what you really want to do at the best place where you can do it. And then you can do what you really like. And so I try to pick out a few other projects that I have participated in. So there is the self-driving car on the right side, and then there is the putting sensors on an inhabited island in Atlantic Ocean, or climbing Kilimanjaro and thinking of, okay, what kind of medical sensors could be useful here, or building a virtual trainer for diabetes patients so that to improve their quality of life. So the point is, you know, it's very cool to do what you like, and then you can actually go places that you like and do the things that you like. And I think that's what we're trying to offer here at BITL program. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. I think this slide that you prepared was really cool. And again, we come back to the point that it's really great to have an opportunity to do things in life that you like, that you enjoy, and that bring you happiness. And I think again that's a really good point. Claudio, as you mentioned yourself, you're the one who started the BBA program. So there's no better person to ask this question to. So what is the BBA program special with?
Oh, I remember when they told me, because RBS has been working since 1991 and has been known for the MBA program. Maybe for the people that are watching, that's they might not understand what does it mean, but that's the master's program for business people, or people that are going to work in business. And has been the first one in the Baltic states. And Riga Business School was famous for being the most popular, the one where most of managers went through that. And those people that were the first graduates, they say where we can send our children to study business and to be our successors and in the future develop careers in businesses. And that's why Riga Business School undertook the idea of starting the first undergraduate program, the first bachelor program in business. And then when they told me whether I wanted to come on board to launch it, I sort of put a condition that was, okay, but if we do the best one, because if you go around, so in many universities, so you have something on business, you know, so there are bachelor programs in business. But there was one that was missing really, and it was one that has the American tradition and also the Norwegian tradition that can bring all the knowledge and expertise from those countries, that can put our students on track for global careers if they want. So one of our first graduates just this week got the main award for the Western Union in the best performer in, you know, and they are very young people because we have, I mean, most of our graduates are still extremely young. So, but they are doing very well. So the reason why the BBA program is special is because it's the best style of a business program in undergraduate. So you have a lot of study, a lot of practice, you have a lot of project-based learning in every single course. You have very deep theory and very deep practice. You have professors that are mainly into academia and professors that are mainly into business. So you have the combination always there. You have the summer 4 months to do a very good internship. It's a platform, so you have all the graduates, and I don't know, in other webinars will come up or already came up where our students go for internships and work. So that it's all part of the same good mafia, of the same community. So I think those are, and it's a very, we really, I mean, business is about competition and we encourage our students to compete. But also I think we have managed to keep the human side of the story as well. That's very important because careers in business are very long. I mean, people don't retire now till they are 80 or 90. So you better know how to build relationships with people and with the clients and with the suppliers. And we are really unique, I think. I mean, if you compare with other good places, I think we have managed to keep the human touch very much on the top of the agenda. Yeah.
Thank you, Claudio. Now I would like to turn to Marta, who became part of this good mafia, as Claudio said, comparatively recently. And she's working with BBA and BITL students, and also she's teaching a course that I think very much represents the education that the RBS gives. So Marta, maybe you can just tell a bit what you're teaching, because I think it's very interesting. And then also, what are the differences you see between BBA and BITL students in the classroom?
Okay, thank you, Paula, very much. And it's really a great pleasure and honor to be here and to share with you my thoughts. Indeed, this was my first year in Riga Business School, and I somehow even feel like a goodwill ambassador of RBS, because I nonstop talk about the super bright students that I'm having, and it's really true. I'm teaching a course that is called The Firm, that basically is a combination where we try to develop critical thinking skills in students. And we also talk a lot about the company, how company has developed, what are the biggest challenges that any company faces in 20th and 21st century. And from that perspective, I think it's interesting also to hear what the students were saying right now, because probably one of the biggest challenges that we all face now is uncertainty. We cannot really say what is going to happen tomorrow, after months, after 3 months, or after a year. But at the same time, we need to take multiple decisions as persons in our personal life, but also in our professional life. And this is where RBS is coming in with, I think, very unique and important perspective of providing its students to this very multidisciplinary approach, where as we saw at the beginning, Paula, you were sharing these slides about what type of skills students are acquiring. And we can see that it's a combination indeed of soft skills and very specific skills. And I think this is what really makes this education unique. And I can say also, as an employer, this is what we are looking for today, for people who are very knowledgeable in their specific areas, but who are also able to work in many different areas, who are able to take decisions in uncertain times where you don't have all the information, and can think about creative ways how you are going to solve one or another situation. If we talk about students, again, I think that it was really my pleasure to have discussions with students. I felt even sorry I have to spend time on lecturing, because discussing real world problems, business world problems, the problems of the 21st century was very, very interesting with them. Certainly there were differences. You were asking if there were differences between BITL and BBA. I think with BBA, I really saw that they are probably, as Robert was saying, they are really faced to broad range of issues. And this is where they concentrate on really very, very broad range of issues. So even if they didn't know very well the topic, they were ready to jump in to provide their thoughts. Let's say they were happy to jump into uncharted waters. With BITL, they were more, I would say, thinking about, okay, what do I know about this? How do I tackle this? So I saw more of a sort of mathematic approach to things, but sometimes they were more difficult to make speak people from BITL program. They were probably less talkative or less open, less ready to share. But when they did open up, you could see that they are so intelligent. They are processing very quickly large amounts of information and coming with some very creative and bright ideas. So very briefly, that's what I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Marta. Claudia, you actually have a class with both groups now as well. So maybe there's something you would like to add. Do you feel the same way as Marta, or is it a different experience?
Okay, well, certainly BITLs are different, yeah. And by the way, there are people that come to the BITL program and switch to a BBA, very few, but still we have those. That they love the place, they love the community, they love the professors, but you know, they understand that they will need to spend in the BITL program, and not only in the BITL program, because that's only 4 years, but also in their careers, much more time behind a screen probably than BBA students and graduates, and that's has, you know, that's a difference. Now, I should say that with very small, I mean, the big part of the BITL students are unlike typical IT people, really. And here we have two, Jekabs and Anita. And I don't know what you think, but because you might know students also from IT students in other schools, but really, so I see much more flexibility, much more that team spirit. I don't think we have the credit for that because they are only in the first year or second year. I think they come like this already. And I think that's the good thing. So for those that are thinking to join BITL, that you like computers, you like AI, you want to play with the, but you don't want to be in the pure IT, disorganized lab, you know, with people that that sometimes, you know, little communication. So here you might find like-minded people, you know, that really want to spend a lot of hours coding, but they also, you know, wants to see the business side of the story and the psychological side of the story, because our students have a lot of psychology in the program, or the course on the firm has philosophy, psychology, ethics, you know, mix up as part of it. So yeah, I have fun. And it's very interesting to work with both groups. I cannot say one is my favorite. I won't say that, Paula, if you want that to it come from my mom. I'm not gonna say that. I like to work with both groups. They are different, but what is common between them is huge, I think. And that's make them, if they want to switch, you know, it's possible to switch as well, because they are quite close to in their personality. Okay. I want to remind, I was now thinking, who computer science graduate in the world have founded one of the last biggest unicorns? I mean, looking from the 80s, but maybe Leo can contest my idea. But if we look, Zuckerberg, he studied psychology, right? Well, he didn't even finish, but anyway. Bill Gates didn't finish, but started studying computer science, as far as I know. Then we have Steve Jobs. Okay. So he basically he was in a liberal art college, so he was studying. Now, if you look at MIT, MIT, how MIT? I mean, the place where most of the startups come out from. So they study a lot of humanities. Yeah. So I think the profile of both programs is great for people who want to work in innovation connected with technology. Mm. Did I answer, Paula, or maybe I went too far?
No, I think it's, you answered Claudia style, which is lovely. Thank you. But no, I actually had an idea that I also want to ask students, because one thing is the differences that we see in the classroom, but what are the differences or similarities that you see between BBA and BITL students in your group projects, in student union work, and just school life? Maybe some of you wants to comment on that.
Well, I can comment a bit. Well, in the school life, you obviously see that the BITL students are a bit more prone to technology. They are a bit more willing to spend more time sitting in front of screen and figuring out some quite difficult logical or programming issues than BBA students. But BBA students tend to bring more of the human aspect into discussions. They are more thinking about how others will react, about what they might think, and these sorts of things. So I think the ideal team is that consists of both BITL and BBA students, because they bring together these two sides and kind of make the ideal projects.
Thank you, Jakob. Robert, Christiana, maybe something you want to add from the BBA point of view?
Well, we have worked together with BITL students, and I would say that there is not a significant difference between us. Maybe they're more into maths and analytics than BBAs, but we're all very open and very collaborative. So I think that it depends on each person, really.
I have nothing too much to add, but I feel qualified as a BBA student to say that I think BITL students just seem smarter because they have more practical knowledge to show you. I don't know, they write code and everything, and then meanwhile I am here just talking to people and doing the human side of things. So yeah, if you're smart, then BITL is probably for you.
That's a funny thing to say from a BBA perspective. But thank you, Robert. Anita, anything you want to add here?
I totally kind of agree with everything said. I would kind of disagree about the smarter part. It depends on it depends on the area. In IT, yeah, of course, but like in other fields or other subjects where we learn the same things, I would say we're pretty similar. It depends on individual and how much effort you've put into actually acquiring the knowledge you're given. But I would probably add from my experience that people from BITL are more kind of data centered, that they try to kind of gather some, they try to find some logic, or they try to find some examples. They try to be more facts-based than just purely innovative. That I would say that the innovation part is more from the BBAs, but not always. It also depends on the individual, because we also have people in our course that are just geniuses with their ideas. I don't know. But like statistically looking, I would say that BITLs are a bit more data driven, and yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. I think this was a great example of how students from both our programs have a great empathy and they know how to say good things about others. So very nice. Thank you, guys. As we're slowly moving to the end of the discussion, I actually would like to encourage people who are watching to ask your questions if you have any, because probably we will have a few minutes to answer them. So if you want to ask anything, just ask in the comment section, and then I will ask it to the panelists. But then let's move forward. One question that I want to ask to everyone. So as Marta and also others were saying, there's a lot of uncertainty in the world. It's hard to make decisions. You don't know what will be happening tomorrow, moreover in a year or in 5 years. So how to make this decision, what to study? We already talked about quite many things, but if you would have to choose just one aspect, one thing that the prospective RBS students need to analyze in themselves or in the world, what would this aspect, this thing be? Maybe let's start with Leo.
Okay, so I'm gonna contradict Claudio a little bit here. So Claudio brought forward those great examples of people who actually studied and didn't finish, but built great companies. Don't you dare not finish. So if you plan not to finish, then probably it's not a good school for you to join. That's one aspect that I would like to bring forward. Other than that, I liked what Anita said, that data-driven, I think, is one aspect that drives the BITL people, if you will, versus business-driven is what would drive the other people, you know, BBA. I consider myself more of a BITL person, I guess. But then again, if you go into business, you also have to, you know, make your decisions that are based on data, based on facts, and so on. So, you know, and let me put some another thing. So I believe that there is a possibility, if you join one program and you eventually figured out that, you know, the other program is you're gravitating more towards the other, then there are options to switch later on. But initially, yes, if you like to build stuff out of, I don't know, computers, programs, systems, whatnot, maybe BITL is the way to go. If you like to build stuff out of people, you know, companies, organizations, you know, be a great leader, go to BBA. But in either way, you're going to end up working with people, and you know, that's at the end of the day. In the meantime, Zuckerberg, by the way, got his degree eventually from Harvard. So with that, that was an, I think, honorary degree. It's not that he had to go back and study, but nevertheless.
Thank you, Leo. And for those who don't know, I think if you visited our Open Doors days or other events, you probably already know that Leo teaches computer science. So he really is more the BITL people, as he said himself. Robert, what would you suggest?
So my advice is, I guess, a little bit more practical or easier to understand, at least for myself, because like when I try to say that BBA program is the best, I'm not bashing the BITL program. I really think it's great. And I actually think that the BITL program teaches sufficient amount of business for you to go into that field later on. And I think, at least for me, how I would look at it is like there's this basic knowledge of business that you will get in both programs, and then you just need to see this extra part of the program. Would you rather have it be computer science and programming and stuff like that, or just some more business knowledge? Because for me, I just wouldn't really find the knowledge useful, since, as I said, it doesn't really bring me too much joy. to code or like to work with computers. I enjoy people more, so that's why I went with the business. And if this is too long for you and too difficult, then the secondary only question you need to ask yourself is either you want to study 3 years or 4 years.
Thank you, Robert. Very practical, easy to follow tips. Thank you. Marta, what would you suggest?
I probably will quote something that I was taught back in some very old times when I studied my master's degree in Paris, and one of my professors told us, all the students, that your study will be what you make out of them. And that is something that I think is also very important to remember. I think the school and the program can give you a great frame, but then I think it's really for you also to think about how you benefit of it, how you benefit of your professors, and which way you want to go deeper, which things are the ones that interest you most. So think also about what you make out of it, what you make out of the things that are here in front of you. So I'm not sure if this will help anyone to really choose between BBA or BITL. And I remember myself, I was very much struggling back in the days when I had to choose where to study. But I think nowadays and in today's professional and business world, studying is something that we still do every day. And I pick courses on internet and wherever. We need to know more and more each day to be able to live in this very uncertain world. So yes, good luck.
Thank you, Marta. I think it's actually a very good tip, not only for studies, but I mean, for life in general. It's what you make out of it, and we shape our experiences. So thank you. I think it was really nice. Jakob, what do you think?
Well, I would suggest thinking about where you see yourself in the future. Well, obviously, that will change no matter what, and it might come out completely different than you imagined, but that might give you some idea about in which direction you want to go. Because maybe if you see that you will need to be proficient with computers and in IT, then BITL might be the right path for you. But if not, then maybe you should consider doing BBA. But maybe always try to go by your passion. See what you like, see what you enjoy doing right now, and then you will also see what is the best path for you in the university.
Thank you. Christiana, what are your thoughts?
Well, similarly as Robert already mentioned, I would suggest to really analyze what are you really interested in and what do you want to learn in the future, because I think that your interests are one of the biggest factors when you are choosing which program to apply to, and studying subjects that actually interest you makes university life a lot more easier and definitely more enjoyable. So try to consider that when you're applying whether to BBA or a BITL program.
Thank you. Anita, anything you would like to add here?
Well, I would like to challenge what Leo before said, because it was mentioned that you should know whether you like to develop things and whether you like to build things. And I would say when taking this decision, it's actually unnecessary to know whether you actually like it or not, because probably most of the people who will start to study yet haven't had any practical knowledge in development or coding or something like that. So I would say as many do not know whether they like or whether they can actually do it. It's more about thinking about which are the skills you would like to acquire and which are the fields or the topics you would like to understand, and then looking at the syllabuses of the both programs. I previously also mentioned this, but seriously consider which subjects, like which program has more subjects that you would be ready to survive, because they are challenging. Each of them are challenging in their own way. So it's a hard experience, but it's a very interesting and very useful experience. And I would say that each person should understand which skills they would like to have for themselves after finishing. So it's, yeah, from my point of view, it's more about the skills, not what you like or not, or what profession you want to do, because you never know. Like, you never know unless you try, and things can change, as Jakob's previously said. And but the skill set, it doesn't disappear with years. So if you've acquired these skills, you will still have them, and you can still write them in your CV. So yeah.
Thank you, Anita. And again, this was a really great example of how studies at RBS happen. As you see, Anita was not afraid to challenge her professor. And that's actually how great conversations start. That's how big ideas are created, by challenging each other's ideas and creating new ones. So Leo, anything you want to comment on this?
I get the opportunity for a comeback, huh?
Yeah.
Like a
well, I think this the actual power of this conversation is because there are many opinions that may not be the same, but they are still driven towards better future for you, for those that are thinking of what to do and where to apply. In general, if I have to finish quickly, then I would say, if you want to work with people only, go to BBA. If you're not sure, go to BITL. And that way you can, figure out later. Is it challenging? Yes, it is challenging. I mean, that's our job, to make it challenging for you guys, so that you can actually learn, so that you get your money's worth, if you will, right? So be prepared to work. That's as well. So this is not a place where you just sit in and listen to something, and then you come out, oh, I'm great. You're gonna have to work. You're gonna have to work hard. It's gonna be very interesting, I certainly hope, for you, and rewarding. Thank you.
Thank you, Leo. Claudio, what would you like to add or wrap up all these ideas?
I think that I don't want to ruin what has been done, because there are a lot of great ideas there, and I recommend people to review this video, and because it will be very helpful for taking a decision. I found very interesting what Anita said about the skills are important, and actually now when we are talking about what's the future, I mean, who knows, really? Yeah. So who knows? Given the speed of technology we have, even the how the world is changing, So just look at how we went through. I mean, the last four years, Trump and American Trump version, and then we went to the Biden version, and then we had Brexit, and then we have COVID, and then many other things, and things have changed a lot, and those of us that are connected with business, we know that those things have an impact, and that our leaders, in many cases, were lost. And so the skills are important, because the world is changing, and it's changing very fast. And the technology we have today and the technology we will have tomorrow. On Friday, we are going to have a debate on social networks. My hypothesis, I'm not a prophet, but my hypothesis is that Facebook, as a public company, will disappear. So we will have social media networks that will be owned by the governments, and basically they will be public entities that will be a universal service to everybody. I'm not sure I am true on that, but anyway, you have to be ready that technology and the way how we use the technology will be changing. And that's why skills are important. And when you come here, it's good if you want to go into BITL, whether you have, did you spend a sunny summer afternoon coding? Okay, maybe not a summer sunny afternoon in Riga because we have very few sunny days, but maybe, I don't know, did you spend a little bit of the weekend coding and you enjoy it? So I think that's a question that I could do myself if I have to choose between BITL and BBA. Okay, and my final comment is, we know technology is crucial and we know human-centric skills are crucial. So regardless whether you choose BITL or you choose BBA, you will have a big doses of both because you will need it, okay? You will need it. Even if you don't like computer, even if you see a laptop and you just want to put it in the garbage bin, I'm sorry, you will need to know how to use the laptop, because today even the biggest CEO of the biggest company needs to know how to use a laptop and how to program a little bit at least. So that's my final words, Paula.
Thank you. Yeah, I think with this we will finish. I think there were many good insights and many ideas that will help people to make their decisions. If someone who's watching or who will watch this video in the future, if you're still not sure, you can always reach out to us. You can find our contacts on the webpage, and we will help you to make the decision with the individual consultation. So always feel free to sign up if you just want to talk more. And we will have more these kind of webinars in the future. We will talk about what scholarship opportunities we have. We will talk about student life. Actually, students will talk about student life. So it will be organized by Student Union and many other things that will allow you to understand better what RBS is, what we can offer to you, and understand if this is the community where you want to be a part of. So thank you for joining us today. Thank you all speakers for sharing your ideas and insights. I think it was a great and fun discussion. Thank you, and yeah, enjoy your evening. Bye.
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 Bye.